Yo!
Hello.
Hope y'all are doing well.
Good morning or good evening. Not good morning. I'm tired.
Are paydays one of the most underrated candies of all time?
They're
Could be
terrible.
argued. Had a few this weekend in the golf tournament I played in. Babe Ruth's also up there.
No.
Don't know why I thought of that just now, but it just literally crossed my mind.
I don't know either because they're horrendous. Anyways, welcome to Sooner Smith Live here at the Voice of Oklahoma college football. I'm struggling. This is tough. Let me try it again. Okay, everybody exit the chat. Come back in 3, 2, 1. Great. Welcome to Sooner Smith Live here at Oklahoma at the Voice of College Football Network. I am Tierney Smith.
I am Chad Smith.
And we are here every Monday at 7 p.m. Central Time, just kind of giving the fan perspective on any of the hot topics going on. We did have a guest, as you saw. We had a guest that was scheduled. Yes, an audible was thrown. No fault of her own. She was unable to join us. So we kind of had to switch gears very, very last minute. So bear with us this time. She's going to rejoin us. We're going to get her rescheduled. But speaking of schedule, next week we will have Blake. He will be joining us from the Auburn channel. And then we also will have Jackson joining us from the Alabama channel. There are times Jackson has been in the chat. He's very, very knowledgeable. He might be the most football savant person that I know. He's insane. So he'll be really fun to have him on the show. And then in addition to our show, we do have Josh. He hosts the Tuesday show with Oklahoma Sooners live at 7 p.m. And then we also have Thursday at 7 p.m. for the live call-in show. Josh hosts the call-in show we have joined before we joined last week, and we're going to try to continue to jump on whenever we can, whenever we're not too late from work. We signed on a little late last time, but better late than never. All right. I think I got our... Oh, wait. And if you are listening to us, you can also listen to us on any type of Apple Podcasts, Spotify Podcasts, wherever you get your podcasts, we will be live there. Follow us on social media. Follow the Voice of College Football on all social medias as well. All right. Now I think I'm done. Welcome. Someone said Almond Joys because you mentioned candy bars. Almond Joys are fire. Those are underrated.
Almond Joys are fantastic.
You got an
Jonathan
almond,
also called it out.
You got coconut. You got chocolate.
Because you got your Mount Rushmores, your Butterfingers.
No.
You got your you know what's underrated? $100,000.
What the heck is that?
$100,000 candy.
How old
underrated.
Are you?
About 100 years old. Birthday was Friday. When was my birthday?
It was Wednesday.
Wednesday, by the way. Goodness gracious. Talk about being old. Ooh, I should run for president. Anyways, what's good about that is you don't know which party I was making fun of. Dude, I'm on fire right now.
Three Musketeers. I'm here for it.
See, look at my dad. Look at
Snickers.
My bad. Look at Paul Smith, 1687. He gets it. $100,000 are unbelievable.
Snickers, a Kit Kat. I got Kit Kats in the fridge.
Kit Kats are fantastic. What are the goats?
And I have Almond Joys.
This is why you listen to this show too. The hard hitting topics get covered, and top 4.
Chad, I swear, likes the weirdest.
Paydays are fantastic.
You're like my father. No, paydays are gross.
Hey, Sooner Cowboy, didn't know I'd like you anymore. Now I do. Look at that. Any more than I already did, I should add.
Y'all are the cancers.
What is that? Cancers? That's rude.
It could be because sometimes you are a cancer.
Is that you're talking about the
signs.
I'm so stupid.
I know yours and I know mine. After that, I don't know anybody else's in our families.
Dude, Three Musketeers are solid too. We see this, yeah.
Three Musketeers.
Fire.
All right,
and Payday's fire.
While you guys are here and in the chat, please tell us your favorite candy bar.
Yeah, type it in the YouTube comments. Actually, that'd be clutch. Give me your top 3 candies, or one if you just don't want to type 3. It's fine. In the YouTube comments.
Ooh, top 3. Okay, let me think.
Top 3. I think you and your dad, me and your dad have like those exact same ones.
Hershey's Cookies and Cream.
Oh, what a call! That's great. Too.
Kit Kats. Probably an Almond Joy. Although Snickers is pretty clutch too.
Dude, Snickers are. You have Snickers out of the fridge or out of the freezer?
Yeah, I used to eat Snickers. So did my mom before basketball games. It was a good little like carb, sugar.
And you know what? Just is a good. So I got Butterfinger, Snickers. I don't want to rush it here. Butterfinger, Snickers. They're just consistent, good. And then, man.
My mother, she's actually here. She's yelling from the back room. She says, Reese's.
Reese's are solid too. Man, Reese's are great. Because I got caramel chocolate covered with the Snickers. We've got, Babe Ruth might be up there for me too.
Oh, my mom likes Twix. Who wrote Twix? Your dad.
Reese's Pieces.
All right, let's see what people said while you think of your next time. Sooner Cowboys 319 says Reese's, Snickers, and cookies and cream. All right, I'm with you. I don't like Reese's that much, but I'm not a peanut butter person. Stacy says Three Musketeers, Fast Breaks, Kit Kats. The heck is a fast break? Besides basketball, I only know the fast break.
I think I've seen them.
I haven't heard of fast break.
I'm
with you. 2 out of 3 there. Circus peanuts are the worst candy. That's considered a candy.
What about Matt Miller? He lets us know there's no hiding his opinion on it. Here we go, Dad.
Paul Smith. I never had a heat.
Twix
are solid.
Twix is not there.
Snickers.
God,
Corrections 101 says Snickers, Girl Scout Thin Mints.
Oh, sorry.
That is just a sweet treat. And then Reese's Pieces. We're going candy bars, but I'm here for it. We like sweet treats. My sweet cheat would be Reese's, peanut butter, M&Ms, and Kit Kat. M&Ms are good. I just didn't get considered a candy bar, but I'm a big M&M fan. Peanut M&Ms. We love some
peanut M&Ms. Oh, dude.
Fuego.
Peanut M&Ms are dangerous.
Okay, we got one more.
Oh, forgot about Twix.
Kim says Payday, Butterfinger, 100 grand. Kim,
100 grand.
just when I thought we had so much in common, I hate all of those.
Golly, Mom, those 3 fantastic.
It's okay. Kim and I agree more than we disagree. So I never. Well, sure. I say I don't like all.
Y'all
of them.
both love
I never
me.
had 100 grand. That's our biggest thing in common.
Speaking of things that are exciting, Oklahoma gets its 14th commit of the season. Its 4th offensive commit, and because I didn't really get a chance to make a slideshow that's particularly just this, I had a bunch of Ole Miss stuff on there, but I'm going to just share my screen here so we can at least get a look at our latest commit, which is one Deacon Schmidt.
Schmidt. Anybody watch New Girl?
Where's this? Oh, entire screen. There we go. Boom and share. Just a picture of him. Deacon Schmidt commits our 6th offensive commit of the cycle, and really rounding out. I know we mentioned Bo Bentley being the quarterback. T, read off some info on him, if you will.
All right, so he is the 26th class for anybody who did not know. But he is 6'5", so rather tall, and 310 pounds. Therefore, we are somehow the same species, but vastly different ends of the spectrum there. One thing I really liked about him is one of his comments was that Bo got himself some protection. Mm-hmm. So I like that. I like that energy. I also like the fact that Bo Bentley was out there recruiting via social media too. We've talked about those players that go out and get other guys. Love that. And then, he just mentioned, willingness to, work with beat him Bo as well. And I watched some of his highlights, which admittedly, offensive line highlights aren't the most exciting thing. No offense. They do all the dirty work. Everything goes through the offensive line. Your line's not good. Your team's not good, as we saw last year. But his very first highlights were the blind side.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? He just when he's basically blocking that guy all the way to the bus.
Yeah.
Is essentially what it seemed like. And then on top of that, I was actually really impressed with the quickness.
Mm-hmm.
Is there were times he was having to shuffle around and lead in front of the runner to get blocked. I was like, holy cow, he's moving for 310 pounds. Yeah. Also, that sounds terrifying to be coming at you. But man, it had some power. 1982 Boomer Sooner says Deacon Schmidt, holy Schmidt, he's huge.
Let's go. This team is going to be good if the OL is good and no injuries. Yep, totally agree. We're going to get to that too. I had a post over the weekend that kind of ruffled some feathers.
Oh, that as he loves to do.
If there's really one thing, upset me.
So Chad takes absolutely nothing personally.
Yeah, it takes a lot for me too.
It takes a lot for him to actually get worked up. So he'll just sprinkle little conversation starters, if you will, debates. He could be full on yelling at you right in the face and then be like, all right.
That's a good point.
We're not the same.
Meanwhile,
I don't want to be if they give me ketchup on my food, I didn't ask for ketchup, I'm not going to send it back. That's how different we are.
You didn't order that though. Send it back.
No.
All right. Not the only commit over the weekend though, or within the last week since we last aired. The next one was one, and I still am not sure 100% how to say the name.
Bojandro is how I thought.
Bojandro. Okay. Bojandro.
Again, that's.
Give us the stats, T. Give us the rundown. If you got it.
3-star recruit. I believe he is 6'1".
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, 6'1", 215.
6'1", 215.
Yeah, also class of
and yes,
2026. Did we already say linebacker?
Yeah, no, I hadn't gotten there yet. Nope.
Okay, well, he is a linebacker. So,
and obviously, if you're looking at that position, and Oklahoma's got to be up there at the top of your list because of who BV is. So
right, of who Brent Venables is on top of just the history of that position in college football.
Yeah, I mean, he's got some of the best. Well, still to this day, he's had some of the best linebacking cores in OU history, and then some of the best in just football history when he was at Clemson.
Right.
Obviously, one of his linebackers now is still a coach for us in Skalski, who obliterated.
I can never remember
and just
how
got
to say
the worst
his name.
call ever.
I think I told y'all he was our group leader at the ladies clinic last year.
Yeah,
and they start talking about like Coach Todd Bates was like, y'all don't know who y'all are walking with. Like this guy's a dog, and he mentions when he took out Justin Fields and when he took out, I believe. Was it LSU?
It was LSU. It was one of their receivers.
Yeah, and he took them out. Like he mentions those plays, and like the plays came up, but I was like, I'm not good with anybody's names outside of OU.
Golly,
really.
I hate targeting.
And what's so funny is I came home and I told him like, oh hey, like our group leader was this person, da 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 da, but I didn't give the name because I couldn't remember it. He immediately was like, James Skalski.
47. Never forget
it. Yeah, he knew it. I was like, how in the heck do you know that? Same thing happened with my dad and my brother. I went and told them the same thing. Again, I couldn't remember his name because it's not like Skalski. It's just Smith. It's not that. It's pretty tricky. And they both, again, like said it and said his name. And then all three of them like, man, that dude is a beast. Yeah. I'm like, how do y'all remember this?
Right, because I'll never forget him. He's laid out this dude for, granted, LSU had 4 NFL receivers, but one of them was just out. And the receiver went out.
Yeah, but no, he's coaching. He's helping with a linebacker. So, I mean.
Lit up. It was awesome.
And he's young. So,
Yeah. That helps. He's got time left. And then BV just knowing him, getting to have him on the staff has obviously helped a ton. But yeah, wanted to mention those 2 commitments. Obviously, 2 big pickups for Oklahoma. They've got they had a smaller class last year. I think we talked about they had the most. I think 2 years ago they had the most snaps by any freshman by number of freshmen, and then last year was the most snaps by freshmen and sophomores. So as we get into like a discussion here in a minute about the receivers and what we have returning and how that's going to impact the season, you also look at just the returning depth or returning experience at every position. And it's something that when you compare it to what other teams are losing, you start really thinking Oklahoma could have something really special if the offense is as good as we are hoping it is. We kind of talked about that last week with the South Carolina guy. So
Stacy says, I need a look at Jim Nagy's tweet about Bill B.
Oh yeah, I got it pulled up. We're gonna go through some responses. Also, you know what's weird is look at like I was looking at this and I thought I didn't realize
whatever you're about to say, shut it down.
I didn't realize that me and R. Mason Thomas had the same arms. I was like, well, that's weird. Mine don't do that whenever I have a uniform on. By the way, this is looks like who is that behind him?
This is what I had to deal with, guys.
It's gotta be Canick. That's pretty cool though. I mean, good for him. Happy for him. Also, let's go ahead and look at these stats because Jim Nagy tweeted about him. Jim Nagy says about R. Mason Thomas, NFL scouting community has been blowing me up all spring and summer about R. Mason Thomas. NFL draft community here. Here's some inside info. The league thinks he's a top 100 guy. Do with that info what you will. It gives us stats from last season: 9 sacks, 10 QB hits, 35 QB pressures. And T brings it up too, and I've mentioned it as well. In the situations he was put in, which weren't many, the teams didn't have to worry about throwing the ball much when they were just when they could just run clock.
Yep.
So imagine we're putting points up and he's actually getting to know 3rd and long and it's obvious passing downs. And you get a guy like the Marvin Mims Jr. as a number 2 on that side of the ball. And don't forget, Adapujo Adabore.
You just wanted to show off that you could say that so easy.
Took me 25 years to say Tierney's name right.
And he still messes up. But you know what? It's fine.
All of them. We got him. Tierney.
Yeah. His wife's name's the difficult one.
But you got him, and if PJ can show, I mean, they have the chance on defense to be just ridiculous, which I think is going to be really exciting, especially for OU fans. Yeah.
By the way, while we are here, I just want to say, if you are streaming from X, please jump on over to YouTube itself because we do have a live chat going on, and it's pretty fun to see everybody interacting together and building off the comments. So if you just want to, join a community and make some new friends, make some new followers even. Just come on and join us in the live chat as we move on to our next thing. Oh, no, but the tweet she was referring to was Jim Nagy said, basically, if anybody's serious about making the NFL, then they better go with Bill B. Like, and if you're not serious about making real money in the NFL, go wherever you want.
And then he had, for his replies, this was also kind of funny.
Replies to whom?
He was replying to fans.
Oh, here it is, yeah.
Yeah, we'll show
Bill Beanable walking out of any O-line's recruit's living room who actually care about getting developed for the NFL. All of that was italicized bold. Here it is. Boom. Finger guns.
And then, look, man, this is so awesome. Can we get some receivers? Chill, Sean. I love it. I love it. Sean's probably a good dude. That's the only thing about reading these. No offense there.
All right, Sean's a doctor. Dr. Sean.
Yeah.
Good for you.
Good for you. Jim calling out a lot of kids and parents with this one. Bill Beatonbow.
Yes, I
walking
am.
out of any recruit's living room who actually cares about getting about. Yes. Jim Nagy says, yes, I am. That's hilarious and awesome. And we're frozen.
All right, well, we know when we're frozen that we're not actually frozen.
Yeah,
so alas.
They're going to NWN night with Nagy and OKC. I don't think so. Partly because I think it's not,
It's
free.
arm and a leg.
Yeah. Which is arm and a leg for us. Sorry, I had to put this back up. Is there any other responses he had? I don't think so. Stoya mentioned that he tweeted out that. This would be kind of the next thing we talk about, I guess. Anyways, Mateer was at the Peyton Manning Passing Academy, which shout out to my parents. They took me to when I was going into my senior year.
Mm-hmm.
Guy by the name of Andrew Luck was my 7-on-7 snapper for a whole day. It was cool to really talk to him, teach him some things, really help him out as he progressed through Stanford and then, on to the NFL.
That's exactly what
I chose a different route. I chose not to go the NFL route. I went, the golf on weekends and not make the PGA Tour either, and just kind of do the. I'm a blue collar guy, 9 to 5 kind of man. So
gosh.
the stardom.
The lawyer is blue collar.
The lunch pail every day, metal one. With paint chipping, the stardom all that went for me. It was for Andrew Luck though. He was also unbelievable. I saw Eli Manning throw a football 40 yards on a rope on a deep out, and I was like, well, that's not human. I've seen humans. What he did isn't what we can do. Mm-hmm. Who is that? Now he'd also just beaten Tom Brady in the Super Bowl, so he's one of my favorite people ever. But
if you're new to our show, Chad has a deep hatred for Tom Brady.
What was it? The Jalen Hurts meme? Someone needs to. This dude needs some haters.
Someone was talking about Jalen Hurts, and some guy quote tweeted and said, "You know what? This dude needs some haters. I'm willing to step up."
You know what? What's fun? I had no reason not to like Tom Brady and like in general. I'm like with that. I don't even know him, but I was just everyone liked him, and I like Peyton Manning more, and I like him more.
And then you like Tony Romo because you're a Cowboys fan, and you're upset because of how terrible his O-line was.
His O-line had more holes than like Swiss cheese. Is that what they always say?
Sure.
More holes in that Shia LaBeouf movie. I mean, we can keep going. It's just, dude, I said it last week that Chet kind of looks sometimes like a giraffe tripping over a speed bump when he's driving the lane because he just doesn't have the muscle yet, I guess. That's what Tony Romo's whole offensive line was his entire career. The dude was unbelievable. Still has the highest fourth quarter QB rating, most fourth quarter comebacks. It's just, he would score 45 points and then they would just give up 47.
Okay.
Tom Brady, on the other hand, wins a Super Bowl without even scoring a touchdown. Only quarterback in history to have.
I have a question. Is this called the voice of Dallas Cowboys football?
It's the voice of reason is what we're bringing.
Okay. And
we will never not bring it. Anyways, Peyton Manning, the Manning Passing Academy is one of the most awesome things ever. It really is cool. They bring all these, the best college quarterbacks that year will go. And it's kind of cool because you get to see them work with Peyton Manning and Eli Manning, and they get training from them, and you get to go watch them do those practices. But then what they do well is like they'll assign a quarterback to like groups of 20 probably. And they'll work with you throughout the day, and you kind of get to go to different setups and different trainings or whatever, and you do a film breakdown. You get to go to a Q&A, which is actually really funny. Obviously, it's about all the guys in there, so the questions are kind of funny. But it was stuff you would think guys that would ask college quarterbacks about. They'll just. So
how many girls do you get?
Probably. It was there were some of it, but it was really cool because you got to see like. You got to see people that you looked up to as high school quarterbacks, like Mateer or like Arch Manning is going to be, but you got to see them like seeing those quarterbacks look at Peyton Manning and just like he would throw it, they would talk, and then they would look at each other and be like, "Dude, that's Peyton Manning." But it was like Kellen Moore was there when I was there. He was a Boise quarterback, and I was like, "Dude, that's Kellen Moore. That's crazy." Like they went undefeated last year, I think. And like Kellen was talking, and he's like, so I just was like, doing a 3-step drop with Peyton Manning for like an hour today, and I just still don't believe it. It's just so good. I mean, it's cool to see that kind of dynamic too. But John Mateer was there and had mentioned Tia had sent me some stuff too about what he had said about the offense coming up next year.
Yeah.
And
you want me to say it?
Yeah,
I
go
thought
ahead.
you were gonna pull it up.
Oh,
all right, hold on.
Sorry. There was I don't have it on here. I would. Sorry. Again, this is
All right. So
Somebody
one quote
time.
by John Mateer, he said, I'd say just be excited. We've got a lot of firepower and we've got a lot of good players. Coach Venables does a great job getting everybody on the same path and helping us out on football. So that's good to hear. I think there is one more, which you might have actually have that pulled up right there, but there's one more. He said, I think last year was an anomaly. This is Oklahoma. I feel like if anybody thinks otherwise, that it's not an anomaly.
This is why I get so mad at
This is a perfect lead in.
It is. Well, it's why I get so mad at people that are I get that it is conditioned as fans. My dad and I were talking about this with each other at Prairie Kitchen. Also owned and operated by former NFL or former OU lineman
NFL.
Phil. Or oh my gosh, what's the last name? Tabor. Goodness gracious.
Yeah, MASH champion.
Yeah, beast too. By the way, go look at his highlights. By the way, if you're ever going south, it's the greatest breakfast place ever. Just
I don't even like breakfast, and it's good.
Loves this place.
So
Yeah.
there you go.
Anyways, we were talking, and I was like, it just bothers me where we're all conditioned so much to not make. You always hear growing up, don't make excuses, get results, don't make excuses, or you lose, and it's like, don't make excuses. And at some point, exceptions prove rules, and there are going to be exceptions to that. And at some point, you deal with so much that it's not an excuse. It's just the reason why we weren't that good last year. And then I hear people that are professional in this, that do this for a living, that are on all the networks, on all the radio shows, doing all this stuff. And it's just, well, look, we can't lie. Let's be honest. Oklahoma's offense, Oklahoma just wasn't ready for year one in the SEC. Oklahoma just doesn't have the personnel for the SEC. Oklahoma has a lot of improvement over what they showed they have on their team last year. It's I get what you're saying in terms of if we have the same exact people back this season, which we don't, obviously we have transfers in and stuff, but also that implies that what you saw last year was what our talent level actually was. We didn't get to see our talent level last year because they were all injured.
Single game.
And I put up this tweet about I circled all this, and I was kind of being facetious with it, obviously, but I was I circled all the starters to make it easy for everyone to see who was the important player. And as I find it, it was
just stirring the pot.
I don't think I responded to one thing either. I think I did.
I'm notorious. If I post anything that's a little spicy, mild spicy, I just mute it.
This.
I'm argue with the wall.
Oh, these are all the players that were starters and or starting at one time because of injury. Now, I'm not a genius, but I felt like I circled every single one of them. These were all These weren't guys that normally you might miss two of these people.
These weren't non-impact players.
Right. And
these were all impact players.
Yes. And then you look at so let's just start with receiver. You look at how small we were at receiver in certain time. We had one guy over 6'3" last year playing. Mm-hmm. That was a true freshman. And you look at what we should have had. Again, Pro Football Focus. I tried to find the article. I couldn't. Had us as a top 10 receiving core in the country. And they were saying they have the makeup to be top 5. Ohio State was obviously number 1 and for good reason. But Nick Anderson, so you look at the small size we had at receiver. But then you look at this, 6'6", Jaden Gibson doesn't play. 6 foot, and to be fair, he tore his ACL before the season even started. He couldn't. 6'4", Nick Anderson doesn't play. We're not going to get into that.
But also, Jaden Gibson at one point had,
yeah,
for all of his touches, half of which were touchdowns before he got hurt.
People forget he was coming on that year. He was good, especially in the back half. He had fixed his drops. I'll never forget the year we got smoked by TCU. Mm-hmm. Obviously, we weren't going to beat them. But Dylan Gabriel had avoided a sack, threw a great pass to him, and it hits Gibson right in the hands. Now he's a true freshman. It's in traffic. But he was making those catches. Remember, he had Jackson Arnold threw the great touchdown pass to him in the corner of the end zone. We had that crazy little flip catch. Mm-hmm. I'm going to try to pull that one up too in a minute.
But also, I was pointing that
out. Yeah. Then you had that. You had Andrew Anthony at 6'2" that was sitting on the bench.
Who was on his way for 2,000 yards that year.
Yeah. It was awesome too.
Yeah, because when he was at the Texas game, I think he'd already basically almost reached 1,000 yards in 5 games or something. It was something crazy.
Kendall Dope, Garen Hatchett, tore his bicep. At least that's what I heard. It's saying,
Nick Anderson projected top 10 in the 26 NFL draft too. Yeah. So probably a pretty big name. Yeah. Kendall Dobe, we have met him.
And again, this was some of the stuff, like a Dolby injury, that'll happen in football. That's one player on defense. Look, as much as we hated it, those injuries, okay. Gentry Williams has just, he's had his shoulder issues. That's been, I hate it for him. I hope he can play this year. But then you get into this offensive line part where Garen Hatchett won. Jacob Sexton injured. Jake Taylor injured. Like these were starters that got huge minutes, and they didn't even have the right tackle. Oh gosh, what was his name? Michael. Oh, gee, this is going to bother me. I just blinked on his name. He was from USC. Someone will say it in the chat. I just can't. I'm going blank because I'm reading all these other names. Jalil Farouk, pretty good player.
Deion Burks was a pretty good
Deion Burks, pretty good player. Pro Football Focus has him at. Let me just. I want to stop sharing real quick in case I show you.
I got it right here.
My home screen.
Number 6 for the top 10 receivers.
Oh wow, look at that.
Going into the 2026 draft.
Now, T, we're not saying we know everything about wide receiver positions, but I feel like if you're the 6th best in the draft class, you're pretty good.
Right. Or Ted, who we had on our team last year.
Oh yeah, right here. Yeah, you're right. Look at that. It's so, and then again, like I mentioned, so I bring this up and I mention it, and it's just, oh, what are you making excuses for? I'm like, I'm not. I'm sick. You know what? I'm tired of it. I'm tired of people acting like if I'm late for work and it's because I had all 4 tires popped out because there was some 2 guys shooting guns at each other while I was, waiting for my breakfast at McDonald's before I arrived at the office. I can't, you don't come to me and be like, don't make excuses, Chad, get here on time. And it's like, I don't know what you want me to say. There's literally nothing I could have done.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if I get late to work and I'm like, dude, I'm sorry. I
snoozed my alarm. I took too long of a shower.
Yeah. I was just so tired. I had to take a longer shower, and I couldn't get around.
Mm-hmm.
That's an excuse. Don't be late to work. Be an adult. Be professional. At some point, though, it's just sometimes you have to not just talk crap on make your team look even worse. And again, remember, this isn't just like going out to your fans. It's recruits see this.
Mm-hmm.
Other people and rankings do matter at the beginning of the year. I know people say they don't until the committee comes out with rankings, but what do you think the committee factors in whenever they're first looking at ranking teams?
Mm-hmm.
What the rankings are by the AP and by the coaches poll.
Right.
So I just get so frustrated when people just there you go, Jonathan. There you go. That's what I'm talking about. That's an excuse. You have a spare tire for all 4 of them. Figure it out. I get it. I'm just, man.
And the thing is too, like, then our backups got hurt.
Yeah.
So like those were the impact players, and then
that was my spare tire. Yeah.
And then our spare tires got hurt.
Fred Flintstone figured it out without tires. Do it. And it's like, okay. I don't know. At some point, it just bothers me. And it's not like I don't understand. I totally get it. And as a rule, I agree. You don't make excuses. Like, get the job done or you don't. But at some point, it's like you got to be fair to yourself. Like, you can't be so critical that it becomes detrimental to your program.
Right.
And people that say, forget about it, move on. Totally fair. I'm not saying you're wrong to have that opinion, but just like when you put the season in the context, I would just like for someone to mention, like, dude, you truly just, people don't fathom that what we had was, whether they were real injuries or alleged, that's irrelevant. What isn't irrelevant is the fact that they were all not playing. That never happens to anybody.
Right.
Anybody. And we mention it, and it's like we're sitting there saying, well, look, we'd have won the national championship.
Too, we had a lot of people that would be like, everybody has injuries. Yes, but there's a difference. Like,
yes.
Your whole team was not out. Yes, you might have 1 or 2, but literally our whole offensive side of the ball is out.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
We had to read the comments for people who are not watching.
Oh, Bishop Frank. Oh, hey, good to talk to you, by the way, for the first time last week on the Thursday call-in show that we were able to hop on, which was really fun. Chad and Tierney Smith are spitting facts or spitting. Big salute, fam. Spitting.
Thank you. Meh. We can spin it any way you want.
OU Sooner Cowboys. OU honestly needs to find a way back to the CFPs. CPF college football playoff. I agree. And they will. I just. And I'm not. And I'm not saying Sooner Cowboys making this point. Just to that point. You know what really helps to make the college football playoff? When you're not missing 12 starters or 11 starters. I bring this stat up all the time. Texas's offensive line had like 85 starts by the time they were in the SEC title game. We had 8 different starting lineups in the first 10 games. We didn't have a repetitive starting offensive lineman set up
week 11.
until week 11 was the first time we had.
It was wild.
And give or take a week, maybe it's a week off. I don't know, but
you get the point.
It was late, and that stuff matters, man. And we mention it, and it's just, I don't know. Maybe I'm crazy.
And somebody mentioned, like, you gotta hope to stay healthy. I think that OU is trying to make adjustments, if you will, about that.
Yes.
I have heard via the grapevine, so grain of salt here, that they've adjusted the strength and conditioning to make it more position based. I guess maybe it wasn't so much before. that they are
Sorry, I messed you up
really,
on our
really
mic, by the way. It's my
focusing
fault.
on recovery, but the biggest thing being specifying body type and workouts instead of making everybody do the same workout.
Mhm.
So that should help.
Well, and they hired that guy from New Orleans. It's going to be their liaison.
Granted, they
the
have a lot of
medical-
injuries for the Saints too, but still, the fact
Well,
that they
yeah,
have
but-
somebody there to be that liaison is showing that they're trying to do something about the injuries.
Yes, absolutely. So I just, you know, I just don't get like Sooner Cowboys 0 bowl wins, 2, 6, and 7 seasons. Too many guys injured. Oh, Sooner Cowboy says 0 bowl wins. Those are irrelevant, not worth discussing. 2, 6, and 7 seasons. That's true. Too many guys injured. 3 new offensive coordinators in 3 years. BV just wasn't ready to be head coach. He has a lot of help. Let's see what he has. What year 4 has in store. Sorry, I just literally got dyslexia just then. I mean, I could address each one of these points. I mean, 2, 6, and 7 seasons. Yeah, the first season, it's like we're trying to learn how to fly a plane while it's taking off. Like we had our, you don't even get a full recruiting cycle. You only get the December portal season. Dylan Gabriel gets hurt and we lose every game that he's not in. The next season, you have 10 wins when you're healthy. You beat Texas. Dylan Gabriel and them are healthy. They don't play in the bowl game. You lose that. Bowl games unless you're in the playoffs, are just irrelevant to me. Yeah.
And also in those bowl games, we were playing teams who were trying to get 10-win seasons for the first time ever. So they were actually playing everybody.
Yeah, they didn't have one sit out, and neither one of them were playing. Also, the 3 new OCs thing is a point. That's true. Also, I will say this: the same people that are talking about 3 new OCs are the same people that were complaining about having the number 4 offense in the country all last year. Whenever Lebby was here. Ago. So I wonder if Sooner Cowboy was talking about how bad Lebby was. Maybe, I don't know. BV just wasn't ready to be a head coach. Again, with the benefit of hindsight, everyone's a genius. And then he also has a lot of help. Let's see what he has year 4. I agree. And yeah, he needs to prove it. And if he doesn't, he won't be our coach next year. I highly doubt it, unless it is. And it also will depend on what the losses look like. Say you go 8-4, he'll be the coach next year. Just granted on what our schedule is. And if your losses are now, if you lose like South Carolina, we lost South Carolina, you're going to have problems actually coming back. It's just, yeah, you're 100% right, Sooner Cowboy. You got to keep your stuff intact and your players healthy to be a good team. You're right. You got to be, and I've been critical of BV for whatever reason. Every year he has been here, we're like injured up front for the first 4 games.
One thing I have heard is that the Luttrell hire was not so much his call as it was maybe somebody else's.
Yeah, we've heard,
to keep it in-house. So do with that what you will. But I mean, Lebby was his hire, and yeah, we were complaining, but again, we were top 4, and we had a winning season. And then the Luttrell hire, which we've heard potentially really wasn't even his call to begin with, that didn't work out well. But now he has Ben Arbuckle, so you're hoping that was a pretty dang good hire.
Yep.
So we'll see. Again, we are cautiously optimistic.
Yeah.
My brain power is can't be any worse than last year offensively.
Yeah.
So if you have a pulse of an offense, if you have an offense that can walk and chew gum at the same time, we win 3 more games last year, at least. So
it's also like, he's shown that he at least will make. It's like we can be critical of BV, but you got to give him credit where it's due. He was shown he'll at least make changes. He fired Luttrell in the middle of the season. He went and hired a 4th-year offensive coordinator who, as good as he is, you can say he hadn't proven it against the best defenses in the country. He hadn't had to yet, though. And to be fair to him, he hasn't had the opportunity.
Right. To
be fair to him, every quarterback he's coached has been drafted. Bailey Zappi, Cam Ward. It's looking like John Mateer will be drafted. And the same people that are saying, well, John Mateer's got to play against good offenses. He hadn't played on this level. Cam Ward hadn't either, and he fared just fine. So much so that he was up there almost about won the Heisman. So, I mean, the argument's cut both ways. I just get tired of we ignore the reality of what happened last year, which was everyone was just injured. And you can get mad at that. You can say it's whoever's fault it was.
And we're mad we lost too. But at the end of the day, it's like you can't run a marathon with no legs.
Yeah.
And no arms.
And again, people are going to think we're making excuses. It's just not. I'm never going to be apologetic for just saying a fact. You might not like the number 4, but I'm not going to tell you 2 + 2 is 5. I'm just never going to do that. So you can get mad.
We're tired of it too, Sooner Cowboy.
Yeah, we're tired of 6 to 7 seasons too.
Again, if we go 6 and 7 this year and we're essentially all healthy without the occasional football injury that just is going to happen, we're with you.
Yeah. And if I sound like I'm
burn it down,
this
burn
is where
it all down.
this is where T helps me out. I don't mean to sound aggressive or upset at any fan on here. Y'all rock for watching our show, and I love all of y'all. So if I ever sound like that, I can sense my mom texting me now, like, Chad, stop sounding condescending to people. But I trust y'all know that.
But also, as we said earlier, he will sprinkle the debate in there. He takes nothing personally, and so he also assumes a lot of other people won't. So if you take anything personally, don't.
I do have to be better about that. But no, that's just the shit. It was just a deal about. This is true.
You could win the Natty, and people would still gripe.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, there was a meme / tweet that went around and said, "Imagine telling OU fans in 2001 that their state would win an NBA championship before they saw another football national championship." Yeah. I didn't know whether to laugh or cry.
It's just that is wild.
Because seriously, could you imagine if they go back in time for 24 years and tell OU fans in 2001 that the state of Oklahoma won an NBA championship before there's another football natty?
BB Schwartz says, take everything personally.
I do. Thank you. I like there's like another meme that says, all right, so don't ever think this, or like, don't take it personally. It's like, the best I can do is immediately take it as personally as possible.
Immediately as personally as possible. That's awesome.
That's fine. That's why I mute so many things. So,
but yeah, so we got that. We dealt with that, and then just going into next year. The reason why I'm excited is because you have a lot of what our defense already had back, and I know my dad's commented a couple of times. I'm going to get him on before the season starts to get his opinion on our defense, and I'm just going to ask him a lot of questions, just football in general. He is one of the best minds I've ever talked to just about the game. And although he's my father, I'm not biased in that. I can be critical of people all the time.
Okay, just a side note. I have a loose hair.
I was about to say, I thought my wife was being possessed or something.
No, I have like women, y'all get it. You got like a loose hair touching your arm and it's just tickling it, but you can't find it. My own. Mm-hmm. Look at this.
A likely story. I don't even know where I was going with that, honestly.
I don't know where you're going with it either.
I'm going to get my dad on, just have him talk, just football in general, and then kind of where he sees just our defense. And then he also has a lot of familiarity with Venable's system. He kind of ran the same heavy blitz, just aggressive defense when he was a DC. And they did really well every time he was the DC thing. Probably still have that Schmidt deal.
Yeah. 29.
Yeah. That deal all in your head. But yeah, he would he's gonna be great. So I need to figure out when we're gonna do that. But yeah, we were planning on having, if y'all didn't see earlier, the Auburn or the Ole Miss. Her name is
Leanne Herring.
Leanne Herring, yes. Obviously, Herring.
I might be. It could be Herring.
It's Leanne for sure. Though.
It's Leanne.
Leanne here.
We didn't get to, double check that because we were gonna have her on, so we were gonna just, ask.
She had there was a transformer that
not
busted
Optimus Prime.
And took down like. That was such a joke that I would laugh at like that. That went down, and her Wi-Fi and computer and stuff weren't working, and so she just had to reschedule. But so do we have anything else really that we were going to discuss? I know we went recruits, we went some of the Nagy comments. We had we tried to send each other stuff throughout the week just to mention on the show, and I had really just kind of done a lot of Ole Miss stuff really leading up to it. Our NCAA rating drop, we're 14 offense, 17 defense. How, this is what I mean. I just don't, how are we rated higher on offense than our defense is?
Historically, or history.
Am I just misreading
That's my
this?
thing where they say last year was an anomaly. So they're still thinking our offense could be better than our defense. Even though our defense kept us even remotely competitive last year.
You know what? You remember the horror movie Jeepers Creepers?
I never watched it.
You didn't? Well, Derek, if he's watching my brother-in-law, one of the greatest humans ever, is going to like this reference because at the end of it, he eats people's eyes.
Oh.
And I only bring that up because apparently that's what happened also to everyone that does these rankings for college football, for EA Sports college football.
They're gamers. They don't probably actually watch the sport.
But how did you rank our offense above our defense?
Maybe it's a typo.
Hopefully. It almost baffles the mind. The comments are just absolutely hilarious. I'm not reading that one. Laughable on all counts. Sorry, this team.
Thinking the O is going to surprise a lot of peeps. I agree, but also I don't think it should be a surprise. Boomer Sooner Team 131. I don't think. I mean, historically, OU has been so good on offense that to me it shouldn't be a surprise. But because we didn't have any dogs last year, I mean, literally, they're all in the bed. They're all hurt. That I guess it'll be surprising because of it's going to look like hopefully a total 180, but
Yeah. And it really is.
I get what you're saying, but like it really shouldn't surprise anybody of OU's offense being good, but also it shouldn't be the defense is ranked lower than the offense, but the Venable style.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Defense, but regardless,
there was let them underestimate it. Hey, that's just Stacy. Use it as fuel.
You said not in recent history. I mean, under Jeff Lebby, we had the 4th rated offense in the nation. Now, last year we were, dead last essentially. But,
literally.
But again, it's why.
But
again, you know what? I hope we do shock everybody. Besides, I guess OU fans. OU fans, you should not be shocked if the product next year is good, in my opinion. But
and what's cool is we know everyone here wants us to be good.
I would be.
Yeah, we all want to be good.
I would be shocked if we weren't good.
Yeah, I would be too. I really think that if, as it stands, I think we should be one of the favorites in the SEC, and I think we're gonna make the playoff. Just with how good our defense is and what everyone else, because what people don't consider when they talk about next year is just what other teams are losing. Like Texas is now they have a lot of talent, but they've lost. I mean, look at what they lost on the offensive line. They lost to Joe Moore, finalist offensive line, 4 starters.
Jesus behind the O line though.
I was gonna make that joke when we had what Ghost on from Texas, but it was almost blasphemous. I couldn't do it, and it was bad, but. Yeah, there was teams are also have just lost a ton, and Oklahoma has so much coming back because of the disastrous year they had last year. Texas and Arch Manning they are the favorite, and I just don't get how. If you're going to look at production and what's been proven on a football field, I don't.
Let's be honest. Texas has been the favorite for basically as long as we've been alive, and rarely ever had they actually accomplished that. Now they are with Sark, and Sark has proven
Sark's a good coach, man.
To be otherwise, but
they hired him,
I'm just saying though, I'm so used to hearing Texas being the favorite my whole life that I feel like I just take it with a grain of salt. Maybe.
I'm just.
He said, I think Texas will go 7-5 this season. I hope so. The problem is, their schedule is their schedule because historically they were such trash for a decade that they got the weaker schedule going in the SEC. But
they do have a brutal one next year though.
Better than
a pretty tough one.
But not again, not ours. But also it's harder than their last year. Because
yeah, they do. Yeah. They've got they play.
I'm not it's an SEC schedule, so I'm not gonna call it easy, but you get what I'm saying.
They play Florida and then us that next year. That's not fun. Sark back on the wagon. Boomer Stoner Team 131 says someone needs to get Sark back on the wagon. Man, he is. I remember watching his coach's clinic videos, his presentations when he's at Alabama, and just he simplifies the offense so well. It's just literally, it's the big three, and Belichick actually has this. It's kind of a foundational deal with just the quarterback position or offenses, but like his quarterbacks, he has like 3 rules. It's just don't take negative play, no false starts or negative play penalties. Don't take negative plays, and then get the ball to your playmakers. He always tells his quarterbacks you can't, you don't make plays without getting your playmakers involved. So get the ball to your hand quickly.
Okay.
It's like don't just hold it. And like you watch him play, and like that's what Quinn Ewers was good at doing. It's whenever he couldn't do that, and he had to actually rely on a little bit of just not it being schemed open for him, that where he struggled a little bit. And Sark does that really well. And I'm hoping Arbuckle does too, from what I've seen. So.
Are we gonna mention something else? You got something here? What you got?
There's some. I hope he's okay, but there's just an article I was reading about our wide receiver starters, and it's looking like again, it looks like Giovanni Gibson's going to be is going to be able to go. It looked like when he first got injured, there was
half of the season
missed. Yeah, but it's looking like as it goes on, and again, I'd much rather you do this. Make me overestimate at the beginning. Don't do this. He's going to be totally fine. And then week 4, we're wondering where's Giovanni.
Right.
Tell me he's going to be out till week 10, and then it's like, oh, actually, he's going to be fine. Yeah. So he has been. So if he's healthy when the season ends, he's going to be the starter at the X. Giovanni Gibson will be. Backups will be Jermichael Carter and Zion Kearney. At Z, you're going to have Jaden Gibson, by this article's opinion. He was played well down the stretch of OU's 10-win season. and he's hoping that he's back for week 1. It looks like backup you'll have Elijah Thomas, a true freshman from Oklahoma, by the way, an absolute phenom. You should have seen him play against. I think they lost to Sulphur. But he is in. That was probably so loud for people.
Dogs.
Goodness gracious! It's they were. Javonte Gibson's walking in the boot. Okay, good. It's a fake boot.
I mean, as someone who had a really major ankle injury and it wasn't getting better until I got my boot. So, I mean, I'd rather him be in a boot now.
Yeah, no, I think that's good.
Yeah, keep that stabilized until August 28th.
Because you're usually on the scooter until until you heal up enough or swelling, and then you can go on the boot. My ears are now bleeding.
Sorry.
Yeah, that's fine. Hey,
oopsies.
It's gonna happen. So Elijah Thomas, who's an awesome, crazy athlete, and then Countez Lewis is gonna be the backup there. Countez Lewis from the portal, obviously, and then looks like Josiah Martin and Zion Reagans are gonna be able to come in a little bit and help. And again, Zion Reagan's a guy that was just supposed to play a few snaps a game and just run straight and be faster than everybody. Now he's out there for 60 snaps. And he's 5'7", 140.
He's small.
Anyways.
Small and fast. Well, Deion Burks is small.
Deion Burks going to be starting. That's a hot take. We'll see if that pans out. Deion Burks, closest thing OU has to a lock wide receiver. If he's healthy, he'll be one of the featured targets for Arbuckle's system. He was Oklahoma's best wide receiver last season. Unfortunately, he only played 4 games and still is our best wide receiver. He came back for one more shot to impress NFL scouts, but to do that, you have to be on the field. Top rear. That's awesome. Backups Isaiah Satanga and Jacob Jordan. JJ.
Jacob Jordan. Chad had the hardest time during the season. He's like, Jordan, Jacob, Jordan, Jordan, Jacob.
Jordan,
like
Jacob.
The John Jacob Jingleheimer Smith. It's like what he reminded me of.
And Oklahoma's offense, according to defensive line, according to Pro Football Focus, one of the best defensive lines in 2025. There was one position group that was clear in strength for the Oklahoma Sooners in 2024. This article says it was the defensive line led by breakout seasons from Mason Thomas, Grayson Halton, who people overlook when they talk about this defensive line coming back next year.
Baby G.
And true freshman Jayden Jackson. The Sooners defensive line was a game changer to Oklahoma's fortunes last season. The addition of Dominic Williams via the transfer portal, along with a steady performance of Ethan Downs and obviously the opposite side of Thomas, they allowed just 3.1 yards per carry and less than a touchdown rushing per game through the season. That's crazy, especially when you consider there was a lot of running on our defense because a lot of teams were up early because they were up 6-0, which basically meant the game was over. Anyways, though Oklahoma lost Downs senior defensive tackle DeJohn Terry, the Sooners are still among the best defensive lines in college football. According to Pro Football Focus's Max Chadwick. He has the name Chad in his name, so he's probably correct. Chadwick included the Sooners among his top 10 units 2025, coming in at number 9, speaking of Tony Romo, just one spot ahead of Texas. And this is what he says, and I'm not going to read this whole article because that's just ripping content. But just what he says here, he goes, the Sooners have plenty of experienced players on their D-line, returning 4 contributors who played at least 300 snaps last year. Grayson Halton is my number 10 interior lineman in the country. His 13.6% pressure rate since 2023 leads all returning FBS defensive tackles, while his 12.5% pass rush win rate, that's not fair for someone who couldn't say their R's when they were a kid, is among the best returning in the Power 4 conferences. Mason Thomas is also a terrific pass rusher, placing second among FBS edge defenders with a 93.2 pass rush grade. Go ahead
and shout out Todd Bates and Miguel Chavis.
No joke. And listen, 93.2 pass rush grade on true pass sets last season, and they didn't get many true pass sets. That means passing downs, like where it's you need to typically pass the ball, which again didn't happen much. They'll have a chance to be even better this year with the development of Thomas, Halton, Jackson, Williams, and former 5-star defensive tackle David Stone. The addition of Marvin Jones Jr. at defensive end, again, a guy that is a former 5-star recruit out of high school. Again, high school stars are pretty relevant in college, but it just shows, has some physical gifts. If he can pan out, you're looking at a guy that's going to, I think, give us a lot of in the backup role for sure. And then also PJ Adebore, which just doesn't mention, but he's, and again, kind of with he's obviously played more, but just along the lines of another guy that's had an injury issue since he started, like Williams has. always had that ankle problem. He's never really been fully healthy and
Ankles
been able to
suck.
get up. Yeah, it's one of those that seem like once you have issues with them, it just
ankle injuries, they suck.
They
And
kinda
like
just stay
there's
with
so
you.
many physical therapists that tell you like a really bad sprain sucks.
It's almost worse than like
It's
a
like
break
worse than
almost.
a break.
Yeah.
Because it just no, it
Where did I
sucks.
hear? Where did we hear that? Was there a player that I don't know? I heard that. I can't remember where I heard it. Maybe it was
Probably heard
NFL
it
or
several
something.
times.
But
I know you've heard it from me.
yeah, probably. Yeah.
I had a lot of ankle sprains and ankle turns, and Chad and I will be walking down the road and my ankle just goes dunk. It just gives out. I just keep walking. Chad's like, "Are you like okay? Like, your ankle just you just went asphalt to ankle." I'm like, "Yeah, I'm good."
Dude,
it just does
that
this.
will happen. It like pops out.
I
Like
got
she looks like
physical
she looks like
yeah.
a pirate for a sec because they're just her ankle bones just like right here. And I'm like, whoa. Hard.
No, I've had physical therapists. They'll like check out like my ligaments. Like you rolled your ankles a lot, huh? I'm like, yeah, your ligaments are real stretched.
That's just.
But anyways, back to the comments.
Just some.
PJ hasn't tasted blood yet.
No, I hope he starts, man. His like physical makeup is just crazy. Like
I think that about all
these
these guys,
awesome.
essentially.
Yeah, true. Yeah.
So I'm like, same
This
species.
is a crazy stat. Georgia line didn't give up a rushing TD for almost 2 seasons during their natty title. That's wild. That's crazy. Dude, they were so good. Had a guy call in and remind us that Georgia has a good defense. He was a Ohio State fan. Nice guy.
That was a weird.
Awesome guy.
He was super nice, but I was real confused. I looked at Chad
yeah.
and go, did I miss when like Georgia wasn't good on the D-line recently, or like wasn't
Fact
big?
check true. They're going to be good on defense again, I'm sure.
He's like, yeah, dude, like preach.
No, it was a nice dude. He was a Ohio State fan. So
he was, but he's like, I'm going to warn you about Georgia. And like, we try to be like, we don't play Georgia unless we play in the SEC championship.
Right.
But like, yeah, they're probably going to be pretty good.
I've heard Ohio State might be good at receiver next year. With Josiah Smith bagging on them. All right. Well, I hope y'all enjoyed the show. Again, we kind of threw it together. No issue at all. But, it happens. It happens. Life happens, and we had to reschedule. Like some pros, see, if I do say so myself.
We're getting used to this now.
Yeah, totally. But yeah, so I hope y'all enjoyed it. We tried to come up with some topics here fairly quickly. Leanne, hopefully you can hop on soon. Hopefully your Wi-Fi and everything comes back up. That's a nightmare not to be able to
world
do
problems.
anything. Yeah, for real. But there's still problems, I guess, if you have them.
Yeah. Just to give you guys a little bit of the schedule, I believe is Blake. Yeah, it's Blake Lane. Blake Lane will be joining us next week, July 7th, to preview the Auburn game. On July the 14th, we'll be having Jackson join us, and he is from the Alabama channel. He, again, is a football savant, so I cannot wait to hear from him. And then after that, we'll try to we still will need to touch on Tennessee. We need to have Leanne rescheduled, Missouri, and LSU. So lots of content and creators to be joining us. Chad's going to be trying to get Coach Smith, aka my father-in-law, aka his dad, onto our channel just to discuss some football and some defensive strategies, especially going into the season. As Miss Stacy always likes to remind everybody, please like the video. I'm going to give you 3 seconds to press that like button. 3, 2, 1. Share it wherever you can. Subscribe to the channel. And when we're out of here, we know the live chat has been great, but if you could also just go ahead and throw a comment on, it could be Boomer, it could be Sooner, it could give us your predictions for anything this year. You can tell us we look weird, our voices suck. I don't really care. A comment's a comment, and we love that type of interaction. Join us here every Monday at 7 p.m. Tomorrow night, Josh will be live at 7 p.m. on this channel as well. He's also been fantastic. And then the call-in show is Thursday at 7 p.m.
And if y'all have any topics you want us to discuss, whether it's, I don't know, it can be just funny stuff like we talked about to start the show. Those really do help because it's kind of hard to think of things to discuss.
Yeah. Speaking of which, if you're listening to this late, throw your candy bars in the comments.
Yeah. 3 favorite candy bars. I would, if I wanted to be sticky, I could say, does it have to be like one piece to be a candy bar? Can it be two?
My thought was literally a candy bar.
Yeah. Candy. Well,
so that's why when people say like Reese's, I'm like, to me, it's not a bar, it's a circle.
Yeah,
it's a cup.
It's a cup.
But anyway, I'll accept a Reese's.
Yeah,
but then after that, like not M&Ms, not
not Skittles. Like that stuff doesn't
Skittles,
work. Yeah. Those are great.
Like a bar.
Not best candies, best bar. And then we'll go next. Next week will be favorite movie snack. We're not gonna say now. It's called a tease in the business. T. You got to bring them back. Reeling them in for next week. All right.
Of that.
Y'all rock. Thank you so much. God bless y'all. Hope y'all have a fantastic week.
Have a happy 4th of July. Be safe. I
Yes.
hope all of you have all 10 fingers by the time you return here.
Yes, and thank you for those that are serving or have served our country. You're much braver than I ever was, and respect you for doing it in any way that you have. So thank you all very much. You have a good week.
Boomer.
Sooner.